evening, everyone. Please, have a seat. Oh my goodness. I'm not getting emotional, it's just the sun in my eyes. I don't do emotion, you know me, right? Okay, so first I would just want to start the evening by thank all the people who made this evening possible. The parents in 7th grade who volunteer, the parents in 8th grade who volunteer also their time, their energy, the facility team, they work endlessly at this time of the year. I mean, night and day. The marché, 5th grade ceremony, your ceremony, so thank you. And of course, Méline and her team, all this work in backstage that nobody sees, but thank you all. Thank you all for your time and your energy. You have to listen, Timush. Thank you. Yeah, I got you too. So, this is my pleasure to leave the floor to the head of school, Sébastien Robert, but don't worry. Just before dinner, I will make my own speech. Thank you, Sébastien.
Monsieur le consul général adjoint à San Francisco, Messieurs les coprésidents du conseil d'administration, Mesdames, Messieurs les parents, Mesdames et Messieurs les membres du personnel, chers élèves. Tonight is the celebration of a journey that began years ago with small backpacks, new friendships, first words in 2 languages, and families who made a courageous choice to give their children an education rooted in curiosity, humanity, and openness to the world. Some of you have been together for more than 10 years, and I've known some of you since 1st grade. Some of you have joined more recently and have been folded into the fabric of EB. You have had thousands of days of learning, growing, laughing, struggling, and becoming who you are today. Over those years, you filled the hallways of EB with your voices in French and in English, your energy, your ideas, your performances, your projects, and your friendships. And one day, perhaps, sooner than you think, you will realize just how rare and special this journey truly was. Standing here tonight is always emotional, because what we celebrate is not only academic achievement. Tonight, we celebrate who you have become. And when a student blooms, there is nothing more beautiful. As I look across our graduates, I find myself thinking of a bouquet. Not because you are all the same, but because each of you has grown in your own way. Some of you are athletes, some of you are artists, some are musicians, coders, mathematicians, actors, scientists, writers, or storytellers. Some lead from the front, others lead quietly through kindness, for example. Each of you brings something unique to this community, and together you create something far more beautiful than just one flower could alone. In education, we often focus on outcomes, grades, high school admissions, rankings. Those things matters, but they are not the bloom. The bloom is the student who arrives unsure of their voice and leaves ready to use it. The bloom is the student who discovers belonging. The bloom is the student who learns that purpose is not something you find, it's something you cultivate. And over the years, we have watched each of you bloom in different ways. We have seen you take risks and discover new passions. You stood on stages and shared ideas. You traveled, you explored, you debated, created, competed, performed, and collaborated. You represented EB in academic competitions, artistic performances, athletic events, exchanges, and community projects. Whether during a TED Talk, a theatrical production, a service learning experience, a science project, a language competition, or a trip across the world to Lille, each experience invited you to grow, not simply as students, but as human beings. Today, we celebrate the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. EB asks a great deal of its students. Over the years, you have learned to think critically, express yourselves in multiple languages, collaborate with others, and navigate challenges with courage and adaptability. You should be deeply proud of what you have accomplished. Your education here has never been limited to simply learning French and English. A bilingual education is not simply about vocabulary or grammar. It's about learning to move between perspectives. It's about understanding that there is rarely only one way to see the world. It is about developing empathy, intellectual flexibility, and the ability to listen before responding. And perhaps this matters today more than ever. You are growing up in a world that is changing at extraordinary speed. Artificial intelligence, technological revolutions, climate challenges, and constant adaptations will shape your generation in ways we cannot yet fully predict. Some people view this future with fear. Tonight, I view it with hope. Because whatever transformations await you, there are things technology can never replace. Your humanity, your judgment, your creativity, your compassion, your integrity, and your ability to think critically. The world does not simply need experts. It needs thoughtful human beings. People who can build bridges across cultures, navigate complexity, and approach challenges with imagination and humility. In many ways, this is exactly what your education at EB has prepared you to do. Language is one of humanity's greatest tools. Through language, we connect, we inspire, we understand, we build community. But beyond bilingualism, you leave EB bicultural, globally minded, and capable of seeing richness in difference rather than fear. To our families, thank you. None of this happens without your trust, your partnership, your sacrifice, and your belief in the mission of this school. You helped create the community these students grew up in. You modeled courage, compassion, and commitment every step of the way. To our graduates, wherever life takes you next, carry EB with you. Carry the courage to speak up against exclusion and injustice. Carry the curiosity to keep learning. Carry the compassion to create belonging wherever you go. Carry the confidence to embrace complexity rather than fear it. The world you are entering is imperfect, but it is also filled with possibility, beauty, and hope. And tonight, looking at you all, I feel incredibly hopeful for the future. We are proud of who you are and even more inspired by who you are becoming, those beautiful flowers. Wherever life takes you next, carry this place with you. The friendships, the languages, the values, the curiosity, the courage that you have shaped here. And remember, no matter where you go in the world, EB will always be your home. Félicitations, class of 2026. Nous sommes très heureux de tout ce que vous avez accompli et nous vous souhaitons bonne chance pour la suite de votre parcours. Now, it is my honor to introduce Paul Salver, the Deputy Consul of France in San Francisco. Thank you very much.
Bonsoir. Bonsoir à toutes et à tous. Trustees, head of school, families, friends, teachers, and staff. And of course, graduates of the class of 2026. It's a great pleasure and honor to be with you today to celebrate this important milestone in your lives. Over the years I've spent here in San Francisco, I've had the privilege of getting to know the school community, its warmth, the ambition of its program, and the dedication of everyone who has made your education possible. I know the level of commitment, discipline, and intellectual curiosity required to complete a French bilingual education. And I want to sincerely congratulate each and every one of you for this achievement. Today, 28 students graduate from l'École Bilingue de Berkeley. 28 students who choose one of the most demanding and rewarding education journey available internationally. What you have accomplished is much more than simply earning a diploma. You are graduating fully bilingual, truly capable of thinking, learning, debating, writing, and creating in both English and French. That is rare, and it's extraordinarily valuable. The Francophone world you belong to is diverse, creative, and international. Through your education here, you have learned that French is not limited to one country or one culture. It is a language spoken across continents, a language of creativity, dialogue, innovation, and exchange. You have also come to understand that identities can be multiple, that cultures enrich one another, and that dialogue across difference is a strength. That is one of the greatest gifts of Francophone education abroad. It gives you roots, but also openness. And you know, we have so many French talents in the Bay Area and the Silicon Valley. Of course, it's because they received French education, but I'm happy to say also, I'm happy to think that it's also because they were raised in the French culture and because they have this openness to the world, this critical mind, and also like this very broad vision. So when this school was founded nearly 50 years ago, not everyone immediately understood or supported the idea. Some questioned whether a bilingual school was really necessary, or worried that it would compete with existing educational institutions. But time has clearly shown the strength and vision of this project. Today, l'École Bilingue de Berkeley not only offers a program of remarkable academic excellence, but has also become an essential part of Berkeley's international and multicultural community. Many of you will continue your studies at outstanding high schools across the Bay Area, across the United States, and beyond. Wherever you go next, your bilingual and bicultural foundation will remain one of your greatest strengths. You are also part of something much larger than your graduating class. You belong to a global network of more than 600 French schools worldwide, educating hundreds of thousands of students who share the same values of academic rigor, curiosity, critical thinking, and international understanding. And here in the United States, at a time when global awareness is more important than ever, your generation has an essential role to play in building bridges between countries, cultures, and communities. Before concluding, I'd like to warmly thank your families, your teachers, and the entire school community. You are incredibly fortunate to grow and learn alongside such an engaged, caring, and dedicating educational team. Graduates, I hope you will continue to carry with pride the French language, the openness of mind, and the spirit of curiosity that your education has given you. I hope you will continue to create connections between the United States and the Francophone world, and to use your voices, your talents, and your bilingualism to contribute positively to the world around you. So once again, class of 2026, congratulations, félicitations, et bonne chance pour la suite de vos études. And now I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Merlins, 8th grade advisor. Thank you very much.
Would my advisory please stand? Sarah Angel. Alexandra Deal. Louise Gimont. Lachlan Hutchin. Leon Okulak. James Simic. Matthew Tai. Nico Watt. Anais Weiner.
Mr. Berlin's advises you can go back to your seat. My advises, please stand up. Aaron Bayen. Jérôme Burkert. Maya de Graffin-Reid. Adlan El-Kawi. Louis Germe. Noah Hernandez Mazzolini. Jack Kelly. Penelope Lynn. Arthur Naller. Sutherland. My advice is you can go back to your seat. And I would like to call Mr. Labadie.
Bravo mes chers élèves, puisque dès ce soir, vous serez déjà des lycéens. Bon, mon groupe, s'il vous plaît, est-ce que vous pouvez rejoindre la place, s'il vous plaît? Allez. Quentin Cruz. Bravo Quentin. Bravo. Matteo Eli. Bravo, Matteo. Rémi Espelen, Van Overbeek. Bravo Rémi. Je sais pas où sont les parents. Devin Glaser. Bravo Devin. Olivia Jeffers. Nix Roberts. Rohan Smith. Ella Sachs Röst. Et Timouche Zavatsky. Bravo mon groupe, si vous bien rejoindre votre place. Bravo, bravo à tous. And to close the ceremony, I call Mr. Lombard.
It's not hot enough. We have time, right? Yeah. It's cool. So, please, graduate of 2026, stand up, look at your parents. It is my pleasure to introduce you all to the class of 2026. I know that 8th graders, you are ready to listen to another speech. Yeah. Please wrap it up. We're done. I'm hungry. I know. Well, again, don't worry. I'm not Fidel Castro, so it's not going to take 8 hours. 8th graders, you don't get the reference. Next year you will. You will study Cold War. That's how old I am. But I do want to say a few words. I'm getting older, and so I'm getting more sentimental. That happens with wrinkles. You are kind of special. I know it can mean different things in English, but in a good way, in a good way. You're special to me because you're the first group at EB that I had the privilege to watch grow for the 3 years of middle school. You started 6th grade, I started 6th grade with you. So you're kind of special to me. And it is, I'm old enough to have seen that for, I would say, probably thousands of students. That's how old I am again. And every time, it's just amazing. It's an amazing process. And I think it's really a privilege to watch them grow during those middle school years that are so important and transformative. And you probably, because you're in 8th grade and you know everything, of course, that you don't realize how much you changed. Of course you change physically. Now, Adlan, I can shake his hand, he doesn't cry. That's good. You did it, Adlan. Good. But you change also a lot in terms of character. And you, of course, learn a lot of academic stuff, as you say. Things that at some point in your life might be useful. Math, history, might be useful at some point. But you learn a lot of other things that cannot be measured by grades. You learn to become more yourself. You learn to recover from setbacks. You learn to face and manage real challenges, sometimes to collaborate with people that you don't like or you don't share the same idea. You learn to advocate for yourself, some of you more than others, and to support friends. So that was a pleasure to watch, honestly. And perhaps the most important, you learn that growth rarely happens when everything is easy. It has sometimes to be difficult so we can grow. And that's okay. The world is not a Disney movie. Thank God, I cannot deal with the songs. But I'm gonna really miss you. I don't expect you that you're gonna miss me too. That's fine. Yeah, I have a son who's in 9th grade, so I know what it is. I don't expect any love in return. Just offer me for Father's Day in advance a little statue of Julius Caesar with 23 holes to put the pens in it. Okay, I used to be a history teacher. I'm gonna take the good side. That's fine. So, and if you don't get the reference, ask your parents also. I used to be a history teacher, so you have to deal with my historical reference. But more seriously, it was quite amazing to see your transformation. And to your parents also, because it's not all about you tonight. Over the past 3 years, and I hope you're aware of that, your parents, they have worn so many hats. They've been your chauffeur, your tutor, your counselor, your sometimes technology support specialist, your event planner, your homework supervisor. They send you food when you forget to bring food at school. Sometimes when you had some challenge with other kids, they were your, special negotiator, resolving conflict. So they did an amazing job. So I hope you are going to be thankful to your parents also tonight, and not only tonight, but for the years to come. It's not an easy job to be a parent, just like it's not easy to be a teenager today, but it's not an easy job to be a parent. Never forget that. And It's especially important because schools are not buildings. Schools are people. That's really important. Community is the key. And students, you have been fortunate to be surrounded by extraordinary people. And I know when you're 13 years old and you are forced to listen to an old person talking to you, you do not realize that yet. But at some point you will, hopefully. So now that you're prepared to begin high school, I want you to leave with one thought, just one. Do not focus on being perfect. I gave up this idea a long time ago, and I feel much better. Just focus on being better. That's it. Just try to be better, nicer. That's all you have to do. But believe me, it's harder than it sounds. But tonight is not about the future. Tonight is about this moment. So it's a moment for you to celebrate your friendship, your parents, your accomplishment, memories, and the end of this chapter, the beginning of a new one. So really, from the bottom of my heart, congratulations, class of 2026. And now it is my pleasure to welcome on stage. Yeah, well, you're in the program, so don't look at me. You cannot avoid that. You know, front row. It's my pleasure to welcome on stage the two co-presidents of the Student Council, Louise Gimond and Nick Roberts. Please join me.
We were just, so bear with us. Welcome administrators, teachers.
A teenager embarrassed by a parent, come on. So déjà vu.
Welcome administrators, teachers, friends, family, and of course, class of 2026. I'm Louise.
And I'm Nyx. I've known each and every one of you for practically my whole life now. We grew up in this school. I've made friendships that will last me a lifetime, and I've met people who have changed my perspective of the world. We have every single teacher who has taught us to thank for who we've become.
Oh. We've had our ups and downs, and we've had our issues. We've been some people's favorites and some people's least favorites. But finally, we've made it through.
I'll never forget the day in 5th grade when a couple of my friends and I faced bias in one of our classes. The whole class banded together and we ended up sitting on the soccer field telling each other our favorite ice cream flavors. That's what I love about you guys. Even when there's inevitably conflict, there's always one good moment that makes everything worth it.
The France trip was definitely memorable. And to me, the most memorable part was the support we all gave each other throughout the trips, difficult and great times. I think every time I saw my class in the morning, I felt I felt supported and relieved for the little bit of normal that I found in our class's antics. Even if our grade had its ups and downs, I know at the end of the day, we're always there for each other.
I'm just starting to realize how important everyone here has been throughout my life. I've been friends with most people in our grade at some point, and so everyone means something to me. Friendships here, even though they change, have been consistently supportive. Every friend I have has made me feel happy. I know I can always go to my friends whenever I need help with something or I'm just feeling down.
Being at a bilingual school most of my life, I think we've grown used to code switching because we know that the friends around us can understand us, whether it's French or English, which can lead to some awkward encounters in the outside world, but also a string that bonds us together. French has become an escape for me. Whenever me and my friends are out in public and don't necessarily want all the public to understand what we're saying, we just switch back to French and then back to English fairly naturally. Almost as if it's a secret language, which it really isn't. I don't know how I'm going to adjust to not having that next year. but I will cherish the time when I did. Before our speech comes to a close, I'd like to take this time to thank the people who have supported us over the years. Thank you to our families for being our backbones, our teachers and advisors for always answering our questions and ensuring we do our work, our friends, and of course our class. Thank you, Anais, for always being there to help when we need it. Devin, for never failing to make us laugh. Maya, for showing her never faulting encouragement. Jerome, for always lending a helping hand with homework. And of course, so many more.
Each and every one of you has been vital for our EB experience. Whether it's explaining something in class or just making someone laugh, you have all helped in some way. And while it can inevitably get complicated, in the end, we're grateful for all of you. At this point, we're sort of like one big, weird family. Some of us love each other and some of us are indifferent. But at the end of the day, we've all known each other our whole lives, and we all know a little too much. Now, we're all going our separate ways. Some staying in the East Bay, some going to SF, even one going to Japan. But whatever comes next, we wish everyone a good journey. This has been a wonderful ride that we won't ever forget. I can't imagine life without any of you. As Kermit the Frog puts it, once you get that map out, you won't ever be able to refold it, no matter how smart you are.
We hope everyone finds their place and makes us friends as good as the ones we found here. It's been a privilege growing up with you.
Congratulations, class of 2026.